What's going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back for a brand new episode of Chaos Ed Noah. Last time on, we had a lot of events happening at the exact same time. Ben decided to go to a subway station in order to check up on a report that was very mysterious, in which he saw Aoi actually pull out her DL sword on camera and attack one of the Noah perpetrators, aka the guys that spread more of the electronic waves to control the populace, which was very interesting because that kind of proves that DL swords do actually exist if they're able to be captured on camera, and that Ban was able to see it with his own eyes. But after which Aoi disappeared from the footage completely. We come back to Takumi, who wakes up in a hospital because as soon as his episode happened and he found out that Shogun wasn't there, that it was a Darth Spider helmet, the media bust into the building and hound him pretty much for everything, and he eventually passes out due to just pure fear, anxiety, and everything else. When he wakes up, he is so regretful that he didn't save his sister Nanami at all. But the nurse tells him that a little sister actually did come and see him, and it was actually Nanami, which begs the question: what was that hand that was sent to Takumi? Was it some other person's hand? Was it even a real hand at all? Maybe it was a prop, or did the hand even exist at all? Which boggles the mind. Takumi gets out of the hospital as soon as possible, goes back to his base, and he finds that both the box and the hand are completely and utterly gone. So who knows what happened to it? Did the police take it? He did leave his base unlocked. Maybe Shogun took it, maybe someone else took it, or maybe it wasn't there at all. Who knows? You can't really tell with this game of it's three possibilities. It did actually exist and it was someone else's hand. Two, it just never existed at all. Or three, it was just a prop. So who knows what the hell it was at all. Meanwhile, back to the investigation with Ban, he discovers some interesting evidence, specifically about the footage concerning the group dive. He takes one of the frames from the video and spots that from the exact same angle he took another photo from the building which they jumped off, there's a building actually missing from the skyline in that particular video, which suggests that the footage was recorded earlier than we knew, in 2003, because the building that's in the skyline was built in 2004, which just adds another monkey's wrench into this whole thing. It really does, of what the hell is going on. Now we have this footage that was recorded earlier than expected, which brings up the idea of maybe this has happened before and just covered up, and maybe everyone got their memories wiped or something. But no, that wouldn't make sense because they're already testing out Noah. We know that from Nozumi, so it can't be that. But maybe there's a test run or something. What the hell does that suggest? It could mean so many things. But anyway, the sixth and so far final next-gen murder has taken place, where a woman has choked herself out while she scooped out her brains, I think, or something alike. So it's still happening, and we're still as confused as to what the hell is going on. Because it's a very unique situation with this story, because first of all, our main protagonist is an unreliable narrator. I feel like that is just true to the base. He's unreliable as hell. Takumi is very biased in all regards. But yet there is actually something happening here. There's a secret organization. We've seen scenes with this secret organization with Nozumi. We know that's happening. But we also have to take into account, what the hell is Shogun? Who is Shogun? It doesn't seem like he's affiliated with Nozumi at all. Maybe he's a third party trying to, I don't know, make Takumi awaken to his powers in order to stop them? Or maybe it's a case of Shogun being that separate personality from Takayumi, that kind of yin to Saratan's yang, really, of letting Takayumi come out of the shell of his self-debasing personality. Maybe it's a case of that, or maybe he's an actual person that's trying to awaken Takayumi's powers, or hell, maybe it's Takayumi from the future. I still have that theory in the back of my head. Or maybe he's just Professor Xavier. Who the fuck knows what's going on? like, God, why? It's always these visual novels that, like, I always play the most, like, I wouldn't say convoluted, but definitely confusing in, like, the first half visual novels, like Higurashi, Yume Neko, and now this. I just love confusing myself, don't I? But, yeah, let's get right into it. It had been weeks since the earthquake, and in that period of time I had been suspended from school. Even if I hadn't been suspended, I wouldn't have been in the proper mental state to go to school anyway. The day immediately following the earthquake, another new gen incident had occurred. That incident, just like the murder of Dr. Takashina, was obviously supposed to send a message to me. It was a woman who'd bitten off her own right hand. There was no doubt in my mind that it was supposed to be a word to Nanami's severed right hand. Nanami was career bait from Shogun to wear me out. But even though I knew that, the thought that Nanami could have been the one killed sent shivers down my spine. And since I had become famous in Shibuya, in the worst sense of the word, I was now more terrified of going out than ever. There's also the thing of the new gen murders. Is it Shogun? Is it actually Takayumi? Because nobody else knew about the damn phrase, whose eyes are those eyes, before Takayumi. So we even have that of, like, is Takayumi actually the fucking new gen killer? We don't have definitive proof for either or, really, so it's like, it's all up in the, it's a lot of this shit is just up in the air. You just gotta, like, pick and choose what you want to believe in this game, so far at least. Since I'd become famous in Shibuya, in the worst sense of the word, I was now more terrified of going out than ever. If I had a hole to crawl into, I would have done it with no hesitation. Even going to the convenience store to buy food for myself killed me. There had been entire days I went without eating. Jesus. It was impossible for me to walk outside with my head not glued to the ground. It always felt like someone was laughing at me. The gaze as if other people terrified me. I didn't want to talk to anyone, to see anyone. People from the mass media had been trying to bother me constantly, but I ignored every single one of them. I hadn't called my parents, nor had I talked to Nanami. I hadn't been playing ESO either. If it somehow got out that I was Nightheart, I would be absolutely fucked. It had been 1 week now. Was that enough time for everything to cool down? People always say, oh, they'll forget about it in a month, but hopefully it didn't actually take that long. And I mean, trends did go by extremely quickly these days. Slang people use would become obsolete by the next year, yeah. Even net slang and memes that people used online died out in just a couple of months. Yeah, give it a couple of weeks nowadays. Television sought out heroes, idols, villains, or whatever else that would excite the public. And as soon as it found them, it consumed them for all of their worth, then promptly discarded them. Yeah, he's not lying. Even the new gen cases, which had been going on for 6 cases now, were quieting down. No one even talked about the first case on that channel anymore. Everything faded from people's memories in the blink of an eye. Which was why I was hoping that in the past week, everything that happened to me had already faded from the public consciousness, just like some passing trend. Even if it was just wishful thinking, I couldn't help but hope that it might be true. My head and stomach started to pang, and I sat down on my usual bench and calmed myself down. Saratan would know what to say right now.
そんなに苦しむぐらいならもう学校になんか行くのやめればいいっしょ
I was at the point where I was starting to consider it. I mean, due to the worsening security, more and more people had been opting out of school in Shibuya Ward, so it wouldn't just be me. And I always thought that it made no difference whether or not I graduated, so much so that I'd be willing to drop out of school right now. But despite that, I still plan to continue going, even if it meant risking running into Yua. I gulped down a cola I bought at a vending machine on the way to the park, then stood up from the bench. I should just stop kidding myself. I didn't want to go to school, but I didn't want to quit it either. Because if I quit school, I wouldn't be able to see Rimi anymore. We were classmates, so as long as I kept going to school, I'd be able to see her without going on my way to do so, but if I lost that, I could always just call her or go meet with her directly, but like I said, that would mean I had to go out of my way to contact her. And I knew for a fact I couldn't do that. In fact, I already hadn't been able to bring myself to see her for a while now.
私が一緒にいてあげる。
That was what Rimi had promised me, and I hadn't heard from her for over 10 days now. Not a single word. The thought that Rimi, my one and only ally, might have fallen out of love with me after seeing my disgusting behavior on TV, it destroyed me. I was terrified. I felt like crying, and I'd never felt so alone. No one, not even Nanami, had come to see me. I was being subject to thread after thread of endless slander on the internet. I was scared shitless by even the idea of Shogun and Yua. And while I had said before that I didn't want to see anyone, the loneliness was eating away at me. I wanted Rimi to come and see me. I wanted her to hug me gently and tell me it would all be okay. It must have been so hard, but I'm here now, she would say. In the end, Rimi had spoiled me rotten. But she wasn't in the wrong for doing so. Rimi had taught me the warmth that Fruity could have. And now that I knew what that warmth felt like, I had never stopped wishing for it ever since. I couldn't get that kind of peace from 2D or delusions anymore. I couldn't survive on just my delusions. I wanted to see her. God. Jesus, it really... God, it's just like... The more you just get into it, the more you just like... God, like, you know, Takumi is just... I mean, should I call him a tragic character? Not... Takumi is just... I don't know. It's just like a... It's a sad character, I have to say. I wouldn't say tragic. He did put himself in his position, yeah. Well, maybe because, well, school bussins then thinking it was his own fault and just cut himself from other people. And once he got that back for just even a second, the loneliness just got to him. I mean, loneliness can get to every one of us 100%. So it's just so sad to see it, really. When I passed through the school gate, I hadn't noticed any particular change in the atmosphere. That is to say, no one had noticed me. I entered the building and started up the stairs. Girl I didn't recognize went to pass me, but just before she did, she uttered audible ah and looked at me with pity in her eyes. I walked into the hallway where my classroom was located. Several windows were broken. I could feel people's gazes mercilessly burning through me as they whispered. At that moment, I was hit with a very bad feeling. My wishful thinking that was already on the verge of shattering to pieces. But even so, I opened the door to my classroom, fueled by my one desire, to see Rimi. The silence lasted for about 10 seconds. Everyone was frozen. They all stared at me. I kept my head down as I walked through the quieted classroom and took my seat. As if on cue, a DQN sitting in the last row, whose name I didn't know, spoke up.
Oi, Nishijou! 超能力見せてくんね?
And with those two sentences, time started moving again in the classroom.
それ言ったらかわいそうじゃね? だってユーリが認めた男なんだぜ。そうそう、俺テレビ見てたぜ。すげえよ、あのやらせ超能力者。
西条もどうせやらせなんでしょ。
大きい人形と小さいお人形を抱えてただけだもんね。
やめとけって。西条は病気なだけだっつうの。そっとしといて。
Damn. Damn. I mean, that's... People would say that. 100 fucking percent. 100%. But damn, it still stings. Ugh. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
だってあいつ空飛べるらしいじゃん。あとなんだっけ、投資。
I have to say, when I began this Let's Play, someone commented of, like, the translation I was using was kind of controversial in the community of, like, it being overfilled with swear words. But I feel like I've gotten a decent chunk into this game, so I feel like I can say this now. I don't feel like it's a lot of cuss words, but it's not overused. It just makes sense. Honestly, it just makes sense. Of course, this fucking teenager would say "fuck" in his head over and over again, and like say like, "Oh, this dumb bitch of a sister" and stuff like that. That's just the guy, type of guy Takumi is. Now I'm very curious about, the other translation. I'm actually kind of curious about that one. But anyway, I feel like this is a great translation. I feel like it's well, translation isn't just like taking the Japanese words and just translating them. They also have to be put into context, and every other it's translation and localization are pretty much like the same thing in a way. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But I feel like it's done great in this game. Like this translation, I feel like it's 100% like real. It feels authentic. It feels like, yeah, this is what would happen, 100%. And I guess that's just more credit to the writing than the translation. But still, like it doesn't pull any punches. I feel like that's the best way to put it. It doesn't pull any fucking punches. You know what? I'm fine with that. If a game wants to be real, I'll take it.
私投資されたらどうしよう。福もスケスケで裸見られる。西条変態じゃん。
お、やっべ、こっち見た。石にされる前に目をするぜ。大丈夫、実際のところただの妹だから。
This is hell. This was exactly what I feared most. The DQ hens had their eyes on me now. It had been a week, but no one had forgotten about the uproar I caused. I was now the laughingstock of Japan. The boy who, after trying to show off his special powers to the masses, went home and slept with a figure. There was no point in protesting, saying that I never called myself an Esper. The truth was meaningless now. Right now, the truth was just the one story that everyone in Japan was familiar with. The story that tens of millions of people recognized to be truth, There was no fixing that. No one could. Not me, not anyone on TV, not even Shogun. I was a self-proclaimed Esper who no one would ever associate with. I was an absolute revolting male otaku, the biggest freak anyone had ever seen. Not a single person would ever look at me with anything other than disgust. I had always hated TV shows that made fun of otakus, and now I just added fuel to the fire. I didn't have any psychic abilities. I couldn't fly, I didn't have clairvoyance, I didn't have telekinesis. I couldn't obtain a DL sword. I'd even given up on trying to save my sister just so I could save myself, like the complete piece of shit I was. I was just an otaku that had nothing to show for his life other than his knowledge of anime, video games, and whatever other media, so it only made sense that I couldn't do it. I fought off my imminent mental breakdown in search for my savior, Rimi. And when I did, my eyes met Masumi-kun's, only for him to immediately look away. I guess that was only fair. If you hung out with me, the entire class would shun you too. That was why he looked away. It was only natural. Besides, he and I had always lived in two different worlds. I was an otaku and he was a total alpha male. It was a marvel that we had ever been friends at all. Feeling like I was on the verge of tears, I went back to scanning the room, searched for anything I could latch onto. I desperately cried out of my mind for Rimi. But she wasn't there. Rimi was nowhere to be found. Why? Was she just absent? If all times for her to be gone right now. I didn't have any way to get a hold of her. What if she never came to school again? If that happened, I'd likely never see her again for the rest of my life. That was the feeling I got. It was like that when she first appeared too. Back on the first day I saw her at school, Rimi was suddenly in my class, just like that. And now she disappeared just as quickly. Could she have gotten caught up in the earthquake? Could she be dead? I tried my best to shake off all of those negative thoughts, but it was hopeless. I was just getting more and more depressed, and now my mind was being overwhelmed by an incredibly dark and foreboding delusion. I was starting to wonder if the girl known as Sakahata Rimi had ever existed at all. Maybe she was just another personality I couldn't behind my delusions like Saratan. When I thought of it like that, it all started to make sense. Whenever I needed help, Rimi always came to my rescue like a knight in shining armor. Whenever everyone else would treat an otaku freak like me like trash, Rimi would treat me with kindness. Had I seriously believed that there was a 3D girl that was just so damn perfect for me? Someone that was pretty much my dream girl? I had no reason to come to school anymore. My one and only reason was gone. You know what time it is, folks. And it's been a while since we did one of these. I really was completely alone, just like I'd always been. I'd always been completely and utterly alone. I started to cry inside my head. It took everything I had just to keep myself from crying in real life. That was all I could do to try and at least maintain some semblance of pride, but that was all it was, a semblance. I tried as hard as I could to just keep my head down, grit my teeth, and stay in my seat. Even though I didn't want to hear them, I could hear all of my classmates talking. I wanted to run away, but I was too afraid that it would only make things worse. Every last one of you should just die. I had nothing left to lose, so why not just die doing what I loved to the very end? Oh boy. For example, screaming, lifting a chair in the air, and attacking the UQN with it. It would feel great to finally give those assholes what was coming to them. Oh boy. I stood up in a relaxed manner. The DQN bastards were still smirking at me like always, unaware of the divine judgment that was about to befall them. I casually looked up at my chair. Holding it above my head, I approached the DQN who had first started making fun of me. My sudden actions caused the DQN to freeze, grin still on his face. Jesus. Oof. I swung the chair down without a moment's hesitation, hitting the guy square on the head. I felt the chair collide with his skull. The DQN collapsed on the spot, and a puddle of blood spread out beneath him before I could even blink. For a moment, the classroom was completely silent. Then all hell broke loose. Every boy and girl screamed, looking at me with fear in their eyes, and turned and ran for their lives. The DQN that collapsed at my feet was no longer moving. I swung down the chair with all my might once again. The DQN's body spasmed, but he didn't make a sound. He had likely fainted, or perhaps he was already dead. I started to feel a little scared. If I stopped here, who knows when he'd get up and start attacking me instead. He was a DQN, so he might even be carrying around a knife in his backpack. I'd already given up on life, but I didn't want the end to be painful. I had to kill him. I couldn't stop until I was sure he was dead. I struck the DQN's head with the chair 3 more times. Jesus. Then again. Then again. Then again. And again. While I was still slumped down in my seat, I lost myself in the delusion. That felt pretty damn good. Query splatter flick had played out inside my head. How I'd love to just beat them all to death right now. The more I thought about it, the more I felt the urge to do it. Maybe the moment I did something reckless like that, the simulation of the bad end would end and the world would then reset. I would then return to the original world where I could make different choices. Rimi would be there. Masumi-kun would be talking to me in his normal, overly friendly manner. Everyone would have completely forgotten about my shameful behavior. No one would be making fun of me. Maybe I should try it. The center of my head felt fuzzy, felt kind of feverish. Ooh, that... Son of a bitch, man. That bloodlust, it's getting to him. And it's like... It's a factor of a lot of things, you know, him finally being in the public spotlight. But also, it's like, part of me thinks it's Nozumi's plan, you know, Noah, of like inciting more violent behavior from its subjects, you know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what the new gen murderers are. They're different people. It's not the exact same murderer, perhaps. Or maybe they did it to themselves. Nah. No. Well, I mean, some of them could have been suicides, while others could have been just straight up murders. That would make sense. So maybe that's Noah's goal of like just turning people mad. You know. Was this that fever you got before attaining some new knowledge or power? Or was it some delusional fever? I don't have a specific name for it if it was. Well, not like it mattered. Maybe I should try it. Even if I couldn't return to the original world, people would just think I was crazy. No, they already probably thought that, so it really didn't matter. It wasn't like I had anything to lose. A week ago, back when the nurse had told me that Nanami was still alive, I thought that as long as Nanami is alive, nothing else mattered. Even my wife didn't matter. I didn't care if I was treated like some freak and sent to the nearest hospital. It'd be nice if I ended up in the same one as Elise. Where had Elise been admitted to, I wondered. Was it that penitentiary-like hospital that she used to be in? Even that would be fine. Hell, that would even be slightly better than being in this school without Rimi. The urges within me bubbled like magma. I could no longer control them. I slowly stood up. A what? Oh shit. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Everyone in the class stared at me and their expressions stiffened. Don't look. There was no reason to look at a worthless piece of shit like me. Sound white. I heard a girl's voice. Not only that, but it sounded straight out of an anime.
この前飛び降り自殺をしようとした人を助けたのは西条くんだもん。だから西条くんにはたくさん価値はあるよ。
Who? Who the hell is talking to me? I looked around the room one more time. Everyone was all frozen poised to my odd behavior, but they all kept their mouths shut. Couldn't find a single human being who was talking. But that voice, it was such a strange sensation. It felt like it was coming from directly inside my head. Was it an illusion? Or had I just crafted yet another delusional girl inside my head? What? Huh? What was that just now? They were responding to my thoughts. Was someone reading my mind? No, it had to be just a delusion. Kozupi? Who?
コズピってなんだよここってどこ誰なの
When I shouted, my classmates moved farther away from me, almost like they were trying to run away in fear. Who the fuck is Kozupi? The voice didn't answer my question. All the voice did was continue to talk to me in a really strange way. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. A shudder ran through me. Goosebumps sprang up on my skin. In an extremely cheerful tone, the voice then said,
いいと思うなら殺しても
Oh, God. Oh, no. I think I know why this chapter is called Psychopath. Oh, shit. This is bad. Ooh, this is real bad development for Takumi. Oh, this is worse. Please, no more. I cowered in my seat, cradling my head in my hands. The world hadn't reset. I hadn't returned to the parallel world where Rimi was. Rather, it was like I'd gone completely and utterly crazy. Fuck. It had been a week since Ban and Wes visited the Freeze office, and things were a little bit different than he remembered. The seals of papers that had been piled high atop each and every desk were now completely absent. They had likely all come crashing down to the earthquake, and Momose had ordered it to be cleaned up. Because of this, the place looked quite tidy. Staring at it with a sidelong look, Ban let out a sigh and sat down in an office chair he had wheeled out from beneath a desk. He listlessly fanned his face with his favorite handheld fan. Momose, who had been tapping away at her laptop's keyboard on her desk, took one look at Ban's dismal appearance and scowled.
なーに来るなりため息なんてついて。
なあ、ももちゃん。何にもないとこから剣が出てくるって手品見たことあるかい？
Yeah, Ban did not bring this up at the detectives meeting, which, good idea, because who the fuck is gonna believe him? Well, there's footage of it.
手品なんて詳しくないから。
じゃあ、瞬間移動は
箱の中に入ってとかそういうこと？
いや、そうじゃなくて。
Like, a high school teenager, getting a giant sword in their hand, and, something like that, you know?
一体何が言いたいわけ？宴会芸でも覚えたいの？
わかんないんだね。多分関係ないことだからさ。
変な人ね。
Momose shrugged her shoulders, then took a bite out of the kintsupa pastry Ben had offered her.
どうぞお茶っす。
Suo brought over 2 paper cups. Steam billowed from the green tea that had been poured into them.
あら悪いわですわちゃん。お茶組なんてさせちゃって。
I really like that we kind of have, 2 protagonists, really. Like, yes, we've had other vignettes and other scenes with other characters, but it really does feel like it's like the duologist protagonist. No, there's a proper word for like dual protagonist or whatever, but it feels like it's Takumi and Ban, which is like we get Takumi's perspective, which is, you know, the psychological horror of it, while we get Ban's perspective, which is the detective part of it, which it just makes it so much more confusing from Ban's point of view, really. It's kind of like, best way I could describe it is like chapter 1 of Higurashi mixed with Disco Elysium. That's an gross oversimplification of it, but you know, if you guys have seen those Let's Plays, you understand what I'm talking about.
今日美穂ちゃん風邪で休んでて。
いや大丈夫っす。
With a cheerful smile on his face, he handed Momose and Ban each a paper cup. Suo had been taken to the office once before by Ban while they were on another case. Ever since then, Suo had come to look up to Momose as his mentor rather than his more direct superior, Ban. Momose also seemed to enjoy Suo's company, and she attempted to speak to the young, honest man with a far kinder language than she did Ban.
それより何の話してたんすか？
どうやったら不敬に受ける宴会芸を覚えられるかって相談をな。
ああ、そりゃ興味深いっす。
スワちゃん、こんなダメ刑事なんかといつまでもつるんでちゃダメよ。もっと優秀な上司につくのおすすめするわ。 でないとあなたの出世街道が断たれちゃう。
まるで俺が出世絶望的みてえな言い方だな。
事実でしょ。悔しかったらもっと真面目に仕事しなさい。
してるんだがな。
Ignoring Ban's frown of disagreement, Momose held out a box of kinsuba to Suwa.
スワちゃんも食べて。
あ、どうもっす。
言っとくが、それは俺が自腹で買ってきたもんだぞ。
先輩、いただきます。
When he saw his subordinate bow his head and reach for the kinsuba, Ban let out yet another sigh.
それより二人ともこれを見て。
Oh shit. A line graph appeared on the laptop screen. It had a gently undulating curve that rose and fell like the tide. Suwa, who had circled around behind Ban, peered at the graph and cocked his head.
これ、何のグラフっすか？
ここ1年の渋谷近辺の G レートよ。
Ooh shit.
おかしいと思わない？
渋谷の平均 G レートが世界的に見ても高いってのはももちゃんに教えてもらったんだぜ。
そうじゃなくて、気のせいかもしれないけど G レートが何者かによって操作されてるような気がするの。
Ooh shit.
そんなことできるんすか？
さあ、でもグラフを見るとなんだか不自然なのよね。数値が小刻みに変動しすぎてる。10年ぐらい前まで遡って調べてみたんだけど、ここ5年くらいはずっとそんな調子なの。
5 years, huh?
前に太田教授だっけか、その人が言ってた、なんだっけ、G レートが半年前から増加してるとかなんとか、その辺と関係あるのかい？
太田教授の調査では G レートはそんなに細かい変動は起こさないっていうことなのよ。
何らかの異常が起こってて、そこに人為的なものを感じるってことか。
でも5年っすよ。それだけ続いてれば異常じゃなくて正常な状態と言えなくもないんじゃないですか？
もう一つあるの。グラフを細かく調べていくと G レートは毎週末に伸びる傾向にあるのよ。
Weekend, huh?
週休2日のサラリーマンにはありがたいことだな。俺には関係ねえけど。
はあ、土日に休み欲しいっすね。自分もう2ヶ月休みなしっすよ。
The two dejected detectives hung their heads, to which Momose responded with a curt shake of her own.
茶化してる場合じゃないわ。1週間ごとに定期的に変動してるのよ。しかも年末年始やお盆休みなんかは変動がピタリと止まる。
Ooh.
何かの意志が働いているとしか思えないわ。
Yeah, I mean, that's suspicious as shit.
年末年始やお盆休みがあるのって人間だけだよな。動物や植物はそんなもんあるわけねえもんな。
実は地球の意志とか。
地球の意志随分壮大な話だな。
What is this? Some type of world death or something, Suwa, huh? Damn will of the earth. Oh, should I kill itself? See, all these Let's Plays are connected.
だが、もし仮にそんなもんがあったとして、地球が明けましておめでとうとか言う
冗談っすよ。
年末年始はともかくお盆休みは日本にしかない風習よね。
日本人の社会活動と同期しすぎてか。
I mean, yeah, I've never heard of a fucking Bond festival, so.
渋谷っすから当然なんじゃ。
ちなみにこことここ見て。
Momose first pointed at the center of the line graph and then to the right where the most recent date was situated.
この2箇所はすごく伸びているでしょ。
一番右はこの1年の最高記録みたいだな。
1年どころかこの10年で最高よ。
Ooh.
日付は
真ん中は3ヶ月前。覚えてる？小さな地震があったでしょ。
ああ、震度3でなぜか8人も死んだ。あれか。あの犠牲者ってなんで死んだのか理由はまだ特定できてないんじゃなかったか。
さあ、そうでしたっけ？
No. Interesting. Ignoring the exchange between the two detectives, Momose continued talking.
で、一番右はこの間の地震の日。
おお。
あの日、大規模な電磁波が発生したのは知ってるわよね。
渋谷中のコンピューターが壊れたらしいな。俺はアナログ人間だからよくわからんが。
自分も自宅のノーパソがやられたっす。復旧してる暇がなくて。
あれは地震の影響で電磁波が起きたって言われてるけど、真相は全く逆かもしれない。
Yeah.
電磁波の影響で地震が起きた。
Oh.
おいおい、そんなことテレビや新聞じゃ言ってなかったぞ。
You know what? Okay, yeah, because of G rate. What did? Because it's yeah, because it's affected by the electromagnetic waves and it's like underneath Shibuya, so that would cause seismic intensity.
あくまで私の推測だけど、
And that is true. The burring on the phones did happen, and then the earthquake happened.
この2つの地震は天災じゃなくて人災かもって思ってるの。
Yeah.
だってどっちも普通じゃないもの。前の地震では震度3っていう規模なのに8人も亡くなってるし、そして今回は震度5で118人。
Yeah.
死にすぎって言いたい。
さっきバンちゃん言ったでしょ。亡くなった方の大半は死因が不明って。
For a reason.
そんなの尋常じゃないわ。
Like, if it's an earthquake, if you die in an earthquake, well, there's a couple of things, possibly you can crush under rubble, maybe drowning, maybe exhaustion, or whatever else. But nothing?
まあ、確かに。
それに空が白く染まったっていう噂もある。
That too.
そういえば、時間が経つにつれて全く報道されなくなったな。
マスコミに何らかの圧力があったのかもね。
まさか。
明和堂か。
おそらくそうよ。
マジっすか？
明和堂とつながりのある企業、団体を洗うべきか。
もうやったわよ。
さすがももちゃん。相変わらず仕事早いね。で、
I really like this show. I like them a lot. Momose raised her hand skyward and stretched far and wide, tilting her head slightly to the side. A satisfying pop sounded from her bones.
それらしい当たりはなし。お手上げよ。
Damn.
お手上げって。ももちゃん。
やっぱももちゃんさんの推測が間違いなんじ
そうかもしれないわね。これでも結構時間かけて調べたのよ。本業そっちのけでね。でも行き詰まっちゃったわ。よほど巧妙に隠されているか。スワちゃんの言う通り、私の推測が見当外れでしかないのか。
No, you're right. It's just they're good. Secret societies are actually good at keeping secrets. Who would have thought? Instead of leaving clues all over the place.
こういう時は別の方向から攻めてみるってのがデカの鉄則だぜ。
Different perspective, baby. Turn the chessboard around, or turn the case upside down. Or no, turn the case around for Ace Attorney. Turn the chessboard around for Yume Neko. it's always different perspectives.
ゃん。先輩、なんか心当たりあるんすか？
Ben stopped the hand that was fanning himself, then wet his lips with his tongue.
週末に G レートが上がって得するやつって誰なんだろうな。
Ooh. I mean, yeah, who might benefit? I hadn't heard any more auditory illusions, but I couldn't bear to spend even another second in the classroom, so I booked it to the restroom and hid there until afternoon classes were over. The reason I had immediately headed back to my base was not only because of my lingering regret, but also because I still hoped that I'd get to see Rimi. So after school, once everybody had left, I snuck back into the empty classroom. And there she was, all alone in the room, smiling at me as I walked in, was Rimi.
石どこ行ってたの？待ってたんだよ。一緒に帰ろっか、タク。
I was hoping you'd say that. This is exactly what I wished for. But I was the only one in the classroom. Nobody was waiting for me. I made my way to the courtyard. It was here that Rimi had told me I'd stay by your side. But now there's no one here. My only companions were the purple flowers in the flower bed, swaying lonesome way in the autumn breeze. Yeah, void flowers, huh? I grabbed a vermilion handkerchief out of my bag, the same one that Rimi had given me. I sniffed it, hoping to smell her familiar floral scent, but that smell never came. I had likely washed it once before, and in the process erased every trace of her. It was just a regular handkerchief now. The memory lingered, but Rimi did not. With every part of me crying out to see her.
なんて
I simply wandered around the school grounds.
なんて救いようがないんだ僕って
Holding her handkerchief to my mouth the entire time. I disgusted myself so much I felt like I was going to vomit. God. After leaving the school, I began to walk around aimlessly. I didn't care about anything anymore. My fears about being attacked by Shogun or Yua or whoever else had completely vanished. I even found myself wishing that they would kill me, as long as it wasn't painful. I welcomed it. The mental state had been completely overtaken by depression. When my gaze happened upon it, the center of Shibuya was so bleak, it only served to accelerate my depression a little more. And a single smile could be seen on the people walking down the street. All they did was scowl grimly at their surroundings. It gave the place a particularly stark atmosphere, one where it felt as if a fight could break up between the passersby at any moment. Perhaps another effect of the GE rates and the electromagnet in NOAA. Stores that would normally be filled to the brim of people had their shutters practically bolted to the ground. Just by walking aimlessly through Shibuya, I'd already come across a ton of them. I also noticed that there were less cars on the road than usual. The jumbotrons that always blared through the streets are now completely silent, and in their place were the incessant sounds of police sirens, car horns, and various cars screeching in the distance. There wasn't a single trace of the mess I'd caused in front of the station a week ago. Even if I hadn't disappeared from the people's memories yet, the city's memories may have long since driven me into obscurity. How nice it would be if I too could wipe away my memories. To know nothing, to be ignorant, to remain a fool. I was sure a person like that lived a life full of sunshine and roses.
無知は罪だ。知らない方が幸せなこともあるという人間もいる。そんなのはただの甘えだ。
I had a feeling Senna had said that to me, but was it really so wrong, being naive? People, me, none of us are that strong. I was always wishing for someone to save me. I couldn't do anything on my own. I didn't want to. I stood in the middle of the road and closed my eyes. The most agonizing thing about all of this was that I barely understood what was actually going on. Things like Shogun and DL swords were things I didn't want to know, but I'd ended up worrying about them regardless. However, if you were to ask me what they were, I wouldn't be able to answer. DI swords. I didn't know what the answer. Maybe I should just die. Looking to the top of the O-front building, I thought that to myself. If I were to die, maybe my memories would reset and I would get to play again. Hey, person controlling me, what do you think? This current playthrough is complete and utter failure. You made a mistake by allowing your joke of a character to grow in levels. You should have made me more like a hero. You should have made me actually cool. You should have made me more sociable, respectful to women. And you should have given me a passionate sense of justice that would allow me to empower the weak. As I am now, I can't beat the final boss. I can't beat the game. I can't do anything. So please don't expect me to. Reset the game. Please. I'm worthless like this. Erase me. Damn. God. Should I call them fourth wall breaks? They're not really fourth wall breaks. More like just the thoughts of a video game obsessed of an otaku teenager, really. You know, wishing that. I mean, I've had definitely thoughts about that. Like, what if life is just a video game? You know, here and there, but you know, it's not really fourth wall breaking, but it's still eerie. Even so, it's still kind of eerie in a way of like, all I can do is watch. All I can do is read. That's all I can do. That's all I am able to do. I'm less of a player and more of an observer. That's visual novels for you. The only things I can control is your delusions, Takumi, and whether they're good or bad. But yet even I don't know if they are. I wasn't erased. Instead, I felt the impact of someone bumping into my shoulder. I thought it was just an auditory illusion. Earlier this morning, I'd heard a girl version of that line. Now it's a guy version. Who asked for that? I'd rather hear a much more molle voice. Illusion I could actually fact to later. Then again, if they were to whisper something sexy in my ear, I'd get a boner even though I was in the middle of the city.
無視してんじゃねえぞ。
なあてめえ、西条だな。
どうなんだ、やらせ超能力少年。
Oh boy.
この前テレビ出てたよな。ギャラいっぱいもらったんだろ。
ちょっと顔貸せよ、エスパー君。
I opened my eyes. There were 3 men standing all around me. All 3 of them were wearing baggy clothing, and they had gold, silver, and red hair. 2 of them had their noses and ears pierced, and the remaining 1 just had their ears pierced. One of them was a Ganguro, which I thought had gone completely extinct before now. Here's a death flag, I thought to myself. So this was the bump into confrontation kind of death flag, huh? Well, it was just one after the other today. Whatever. I don't even care anymore. Just hurry up and kill me. Once you do, the game will set and I'll be born anew. Do you have a knife on you? Make sure you stab me in a way that I die instantly, alright? I was so scared my legs were shaking. I shouted that instinctively, though it had been closer to a scream. I didn't care about how it made me look. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I was lying about not caring anymore. My situation might be hopeless, but I still don't want to die. One of the DQ-ones covered my mouth. I couldn't speak anymore. They grabbed my arms from both sides. Jesus. I stopped resisting. They dragged me to a desolate alleyway no one would go anywhere near, grinning the entire time, so I decided to launch a preemptive strike against the 3 men. Also, this is just an actual photo. Like, oh, probably not the God's judgment part and not the graffiti, but no, this is straight up just like an actual photo. It's very interesting. Of like, this is probably from the original novel, maybe, perhaps of like, they just used actual photos, which Higurashi did. Both Higurashi and Yumineko did the exact same thing, where they just took actual photos and just like used some filters on them. But besides the point, it's very interesting that they carried over some of these backgrounds, because probably they recreated most of them in that like new art style, or not art style, but they probably recreated some background CGs, especially with all those damn 3D models in the background every now and then, which is very like weird every now and then, but you get used to it. But anyway,
許して。
I got down on my hands and knees and apologized in a shaky voice.
お金なら全部渡すから。それで見逃してください。
I held out my wallet to them. The DQ and snatched it from me.
お前金持ちだな。さすが超能力少年だぜ。お前いいやつじゃん。俺気に入っちゃったよ。
Still on my hands and knees, I breathed a sigh of relief when he said that. If he liked me, he was probably going to let me go.
俺らの仲間に入れてやるよ。入会金は100万円な。これ強制。本当はすぐ払ってもらうとこだけどよ。今日の夜までにしてやるよ。
Oh my god.
まあ、なんか超能力使って見せてくれたら半額にしてやってもいいけどな。
なんか言えよ。
超能力見せろっつってんだよ。
God, if only this was Yakuza. He'd beat the shit out of these guys, or Shion would show up, but that's not gonna happen here.
できねえの。
できねえのかっつってんだよ。
I felt a sharp pain jolt through my side. It felt like he'd broken my ribs. I couldn't breathe. I nearly lost consciousness. I was dizzy. Right as I thought that, the DQN's foot came into view in front of me. Then, aiming directly at my face, a shoe shot toward me at tremendous speed. What just happened? I thought I felt an agonizing pain radiating from my face, but it might have just been delusion. I tried to open my eyes, my eyelids refused to move. The darkness wouldn't go away.
だよ、もう伸びたのか？
どうする？このくらいにしとく？
It's why am I the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why am I drawn to such media that have the what is the opposite of a hero's journey? Like, no, seriously, what is, like, because that's I would call it that. Like, what is the opposite of a hero's journey, where the character gets worse and worse and worse as the story progresses? I can think of like two other examples: House of Leaves and Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad being more famous of them. So you can tell what I'm actually fucking talking about here. But like, the reverse hero's journey is like, I mean, I'm just coming up with this shit on the spot. But it's like, it's not like a call to action. Well, it does start with a call to action, but it's just like the character just descends more and more and more, you know. And I'm always, maybe it's just human nature, but I'm always kind of drawn to that type of story in a weird, morbid way, you know, of like, how far will this character fall? Actually, another example would be Haunted. A good book. Disturbing book, yes, but good book. If you can handle very gory descriptions, I recommend to read Haunted. Good book. it also has that same type of journey where the characters just descend more and more and more as the story goes on, and it's just like, I mean, there is a term for it. I guess people would like to, well, I mean, you need to walk a fine line of it. Of like, there's the difference between like a descent into madness and misery porn, as people like to put certain stories into, which is a fair point. There's one particular story that is completely like just misery porn for this. Well, it's shocking. It's just shock for the sake of shock value. That's all I'll say of that story. One of the worst things I've ever had the displeasure to fucking experience. But off that topic, I'm so interested in those stories, you know, of like how far can a character go? And it's like, the reason why we're kind of gravitated towards those is one, morbid fascination. How far will it go? And two, we kind of hope, well, at least I do, kind of hope that the character changes. We hope they get better. We want them to change. We want them to be a better person. I mean, hell, I had those kind of thoughts when I was watching Breaking Bad with Walter White. I had those thoughts of, you know, every now and then of like, just make the certain choice, Walt. Just do this, you know, and get out. But he never did. You know, that's kind of the horror of it, the disturbingness of it. It's just that they keep going and going and going, and all you can think to yourself is, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why keep going? You know, why can't they just change? And maybe in part we want to say that to characters because, well, we as people also want to change. Maybe, you know, of like, you're able to look at a kind of reflection of yourself in a basic way, not in like complete one-to-one, but a basic way, and then like hope that they can change, because it would be hopeful. It would be nice to see that, so you can think to yourself that if they can change, I can change, you know. But, you know, either stories do the good, or I shouldn't say good, but like a better path, the good ending where like they get better and, you know, have a happy ending, or it's just they just keep going and going and going until they just end up dead. And definitely we're as Takumi has said, we're in the bad end route, I have to say. So I don't know. I just find that I find that type of story structure very fascinating. I'm very drawn to it. There's probably other examples I can think of, but I can't get them off the top of my head right now. But I'm just very, very interested in that story structure. Anyway.
もうちょっと痛みつけといた方がいいんじゃね？あのダーススパイダーの兄ちゃんもそう言ってたじゃん。
What?
ボコボコにしてくれって言ってた。
Darth Sparter guy?
こいつボコるだけで金くれるなんて、よっぽどこいつのこと嫌いなのかもな。
というわけなんで続きまーす。
俺らのこと恨まないでね。
I'm sorry. God, I want to kill them. I'm sorry. I want to kill them. Oh shit.
おい、何土地狂ってんだよ。ふざけんなよ。なんだそれ。おい、よせ。やめろ。やめて。やだ。
God. shit. Oh, fucking don't cut away! What the fuck? Huh? Where the fuck did we just cut to, huh? Is that another version of Takumi's reality? You know what? Fuck what I'm thinking. What the hell is going on here? The pale evening sun shone through the window of a hospital room. The white, stained red by the twilight, divided the room into two distinct parts. One captivated by white, and one dominated by darkness. And what was illuminated by that white was a bed adorned with pure white sheets. On the bedside table sat a handheld video game console. A number of academic books lined a nearby shelf, neighbored by the muted pink petals of an arrangement of cosmos flowers resting in a vase. The room was neat and tidy. Nothing moved, nothing stirred. There was a space where time seemed to have come to a stop. The window cut into the evening sky, and by that window was a small figure, sitting in a wheelchair. The figure's back to the window. He remained still and motionless. His breathing was so light, and the intervals between each breath were so long, one might think he was already dead. His skin was covered with wrinkles, his cheeks were hollow. His eye sockets were sunken in, his scalp was barren. With these features, it was often questioned whether he should be referred to as a young boy or an old man. His shadow, which he had dubbed Shogun, extended all the way to the door of their room. The world then moved for the first time. The door slowly opened, and a figure emerged from the darkened corridor, stepping foot into the room steeped in evening glow. Sakahata Rimi did not fully enter the hospital room, instead choosing to remain at the entrance. What the fuck? Her expression, illuminated by the setting sun, detailed how the girl had been deep in thought.
もうやめよう。残念だけど、あの彼は西條匠は消すべきだよ。
What? Shogun remained motionless in response to her words.
どうして？
危険だから。
Rimi's voice was ridden with grief and sorrow. Her eyes appeared slightly moist.
私が消そうか。
ダメだよ。
Rimi was unable to confirm whether or not he was actually moving his mouth to speak.
彼にはやってもらわなくちゃいけないことがあるんだ。
Rimi hung her head, then gently ran her fingers through her hair that dripped down before her.
例えば、あなたは夢に見たことを覚えていられる？
Dreams.
そっか。私、すぐ忘れちゃうんだ。
できる人とできない人がいる。
できる人はきっとロマンチストなんだね。
すごく長い夢をよく見るよ。見ている間は何年にも感じられる。
私もそうだった。そうだった気がする。でもそれは幻。実際の時間としては寝ているうちのほんの 2,3 秒程度のものなんだって。夢って、心の歌方なの。だから早く目覚めて出ないといつかあなたは西條匠に殺されちゃう。
それでも構わないよ。夢から覚めるわけにはいかない。この夢は完結させなくちゃ。
完結した夢の後には何が残るの？
After the dream's complete. What the fuck? Dude. Oh my god. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Okay, so Rimi's avoiding Takumi on purpose. But he needs to be erased? Why? And Shogun needs to wake up from his dream or else he'll die. But he needs something from Takumi. What is that? Who the fuck is Shogun? What the hell is going on? Once the dream is complete, huh? Once the dream is complete. Damn. Oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Dude, this is good. My shoulder was shaking softly. It was extremely gentle, and after just one shake, it stopped. I felt like someone was peering on my face. My consciousness was slowly returning to me. As it did, the pain in my body returned along with it. The smell in my nose. There was a smell so strong it made me want to vomit. The smell of blood. I felt a tingling around my upper lip. The taste of iron spread through my mouth. Ugh. Slowly opened my eyes. I was in the same back alley as before. I was lying face down on the asphalt, and right in front of me was a small, reddish-brown puddle of liquid, likely seeping out from one of the dumpsters. Grimacing at the smell invading my nostrils, I sat up. My whole body ached. My face in particular hurt like hell. It was hot and tingly, like someone had taken a lighter and gasoline to it. Right beside me, a girl I recognized was kneeling down and looking at me. She looked like she was about to cry. It was the transfer student. The girl who transferred into my class. What was her name again? Ohara? Oshihara? Why was a transfer student here, I wondered. And then the transfer student held out something to me. It was my wallet. Why did she have it? Did she beat the shit out of these guys? My head still foggy, I looked around. The three DQNs that attacked me earlier were now lying in a pool of blood. Oh. What the hell? It was like they all been one-shotted by some OP mob. Faces of all three were barely still intact. Were they dead? None of them moved a single muscle. No, was this the 7th new gen case? Who the hell would do something like this? Had I... The transfer student then stood up and beckoned to me. I was completely pale. She alternated between looking at me, who was still very confused, and the three class people. Tears welled up in the corner of her eyes. Suddenly, she grabbed my hand and took off running with me in tow, staggering every once in a while. What the fuck is going on? As soon as we reached the main street, the transfer student let go of my hand. We hadn't run very far, but she was already out of breath. We both fell silent. Maybe the transfer student was just as bad as talking as I was. No, that didn't matter right now. What I needed to do first was figure out what the hell had happened. I'd been being harassed by those DQNs, and then they picked a fight with me. Then I must have passed out, but how long had I been unconscious? No shit. Oh, fuck this other damn voice. What the fuck's going on, man? Jesus Christ. But I must keep with my own rules. We selected red, so we shall select green. There it was again. I heard it again. I thought someone I knew was nearby and was trying to talk to me, but I couldn't see anyone that fit that description. Damn it, where were all these auditory illusions coming from, and why were they all happening today?
幻聴じゃないよ。
What? I see. It was a delusion. Of course, that includes the blood DQings from earlier, too.
妄想でもないもん。
It has to be a delusion. Just like Serotan, my waifu lives only in my head.
コズピーは西条くんのお嫁さんになった覚えはないよ。
What the fuck?
っていうかタッキー浮気しちゃダメっしょ。私だけ見ててほしいのに。このボケなす。
Serotan is still my waifu. Nothing's changed on that front. Besides, I don't have any memory of some dumb blonde character named Kozupi.
アホっぽいぽい。でも本当に幻聴や妄想じゃなくて。
Are you fucking reading my mind? Then who's talking? No, wait, could it actually be the timid transfer student standing in front of me? When I thought that, the transfer student gave a small nod. Huh? There's no way. What just happened had to be a coincidence. Maybe I'm mistaken. It just looked like she nodded at me. What the fuck is happening? There's no way any of this is true. I'm not a telepath, not even close. Don't you dare say on you, god damn it. What the hell is an on you? For some strange reason, this transfer seemed to look sad. Damn it, not even I'm getting somewhat depressed. If what you say is true, Kazupi, then prove you're the transfer student. What are your measurements? So you can't answer them. That means you really are just a delusion. Oopie? Well then, just give me your bust size. Just a general estimate's fine. Conversation unfolding in my brain was getting way too perverted. Maybe it was time to dial it back a bit. It is true that the new student's chest is flat as a board, so that part is consistent at least. Incidentally, I'm partial to tiny breasts too. For some reason, the transfer student's face was a deep scarlet. Her already petite body got tinier and tinier as she made herself small. This is a coincidence. It was just a coincidence that the voice and her reaction were in sync. It's not proof of anything. God, I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind playing this game. What the fuck? Who the Kozupi? Motherfucker. Oh my god. Also, I guess this is this game's version of Kiryu Monika from Steins Gate. Instead of communicating via phone, it's via telepathy. I guess so. But what the fuck? Well, yeah, but I have no way of knowing your actual bust size. I'm sure you just ask someone to arrest me if I try to measure it yourself. Don't you say on you. Okay, then how about your birthday? Well, there's no way for me to confirm if that's true either. If I could on a whim go up to some pretty girl I'd never spoken to before and ask her, hey, when's your birthday? I would have become a normie a long time ago. When I thought that, the transfer student that had been hanging her head suddenly started fishing around in her bag. She then pulled something out from inside it and thrust it toward me with tears in her eyes. It was a student handbook, one that was practically brand new. Upon flipping open the cover, I saw a photo of the transfer student's face, name, or Hara Kazue, as well as her date of birth. But out of the three, what had really caught my attention was the date of birth one there. It was November 13th.
嘘でしょ。
Oh, right. I should check the name. Transfer student's name, according to her student handbook, is Ohara Kozue. Kosupi. Oh my fucking god. Also, shit. Fuck. I guess she was in. I guess she felt bad for Takumi because maybe she's also been bullied as well because, well, she's very shy and she doesn't talk to it. Well, still telling them to kill everyone is still insane, but. And she probably killed those guys as well, which, you know, is probably a more neutral thing. They were probably going to kill Takumi, but, you know, like, what the fuck?
まさか。
だから最初からそう言ってたのらコズピーなの。
Could this somehow not be a delusion? This voice is her?
西条くん大丈夫？
The transfer student, her head still hanging downward, glanced up at me and pointed into my face. Her fingertip was trembling.
タラリーって出てる。
I touched my hand to my face. The bottom of my nose was swimming. My nose was bleeding. The transfer student offered me a tissue. I took it from her and wiped away the blood, but I was still feeling very uneasy. The transfer student is...
コズピーだよ。
Kasupi isn't moving her mouth. She isn't talking, so why can't I hear her voice?
心の声なのら。
Enough with that obnoxious speaking style. I can't stand it when people do that IRL.
ごめん。
Wait, you can hear my inner voice too?
聞こえるよ。
普通に話さないのはなんで？
恥ずかしいし。
Oh, I know how you feel. I'm like that too. When I said that, she scurried around me like a chipmunk, glanced at me, then started walking towards the station by herself.
ここ離れた方がいいと思う。
Why? Confused, I followed her. As I walked, I noticed something. There was a stabbing pain in my side. The pain throbbed with every step I took, so I was forced to stop. I gripped my side and took a breath. There were people everywhere. I hated Shibuya with a burning passion. Felt like everyone I passed by was laughing at me. Felt like everyone was watching me. Felt like everyone knew my face. Don't look at me. Don't laugh at me. I want to find somewhere I can get away from it all. I need a place to rest.
ほいじゃいいところがあるならご案内します。
Okay, Kasupi. The energy in Kasupi's voice now is a stark contrast to the few times we saw each other at school before. Even though she doesn't talk IRL, her inner voice has, energy to spare, to say the least.
わあ、今うるさい女って考えた。
God damn it, stop saying Upu, you're not Hanyu! Being able to talk to her in my head is convenient, but at the same time it's kind of annoying. Come to think of it, I'm accepting this stuff pretty easily, despite the fact that I'm not sure how the hell it actually works. Fucking swords appearing out of nowhere, man. By this point, it's I don't know. I don't know, man. What the fuck you want me to say, Takumi, huh? Shit's... Fucking bandsaw a fucking DI sword in real life, man. Or DL sword. I keep fucking saying DI and DL. Ugh. Anyway, he saw an actual fucking... who knows what the fuck's going on? Is this really a genuine real life psychic power?
やっぱりコズピーのこと気味悪いよね。こんなの普通じゃないし。
I'm not bothered by the fact that you're not normal. It's just that I've met all kinds of weirdos recently. But you, Kazupi, you talk kind of funny, sure, but you're not scary. You're not denpai tier. If anything, I prefer this.
そう言ってもらえるとうるうるってなっちゃうのら。
As we walked, Kazupi suddenly burst into tears. Startled, how do I give her back the tissue? Aw, god damn it. After bowing to me way more times than she needed to, she took the tissue and wiped the tears from her eyes. Back to what I was saying earlier. Feels real weird. It also makes me pretty uncomfortable when people can hear everything I'm thinking. It's my honest opinion about it.
そうだよね。ごめんなさい。でも聞きたくなくても聞こえちゃうの。
Oh, that's a horrible fucking power. That always sucks. Is that so?
そうなの。
Well, either way, no, you don't want to be told that by an otaku freak like me. I was right. Disgusting guy like me really is worthless.
そんなことない。
Just as I was about to revert to my depressed state, Kazupi shouted at me with her inner voice.
ダメだよ。そんなこと言っちゃ。
God damn it, why she has such a cute pouting face? God fucking damn it, game. How dare you? God, I know this is what you do. Send me with cute fucking girls. God damn it. I'm fucking falling into the visual novel rabbit hole. I'm gone. It's too late for me, guys.
そんな悲しいこと。
Oh, tears started to trickle down her face once again. Why are you crying? Do you feel sorry for me? So there's no reason to. I mean, look at me. So utterly delusional, I create personalities inside my head and treat them like they're actually real people. For example, there's Rimi.
それって咲畑さんじゃなかった。咲畑さんのこと？
You know her?
だってクラスメートだよ。
Okay, so she is real. That's nice.
西条くんの彼女さんなのら。
Like hell she is.
あ、違うの？てっきりそうだとばっかり思ってた。
Kazupi knows who Rimi is, which means Rimi is real. She isn't just a delusion. She isn't someone I made up in my head. Rimi really is real.
そうか。
I'm so happy. But if that's really true, then why hasn't she contacted me a single time? Maybe the Ofrun incident really did make her fall out of love with me.
咲畑さん、地震があったあの日、青い顔をして早退して行っちゃったのら。それ以来、学校来てないよ。もしかして家族に何か悲しいことがあったかも。
Maybe she met up with fucking Shogun at the hospital. Is that so? I mean, she went to the hospital for a week, so maybe she met up with him? So I felt like I'd been saved. Now that I knew that Rimi hadn't abandoned me, I generally felt like I was about to burst into tears. Well, it's not looking good with your chances with Rimi, Takumi. Like, I feel like you should actually stay away from her. If it's really true, if Rimi really isn't delusion, then I actually have a reason to go to school to see Rimi again. So until I see her once again, I'll try my hardest to.
気をつけてね。
Huh?
西条くんが咲畑さんと付き合ってるって思ってたから言わなかった。けど咲畑さんには気をつけて。
Well, she's telling the truth now. What do you mean?
咲畑さんはよくわかんないのら。
Huh? Again, what do you mean? What do you mean I don't really know her? What do you mean because of the crucifixion? Or is it that, even though I'm supposed to have been classmates with her since first year, all my memories of her are missing? It's true that Rimi still is a bit of a mystery to me. But she saved me over and over again. Whenever I'm scared, she tells me that she'll stay by my side. She's not my enemy. For some reason, Kazupi looked a bit unstable.
そんなに一度にいっぱい考えられると。コズピーついていきにゃい。
She really is like fucking Hanyu. Sorry. This is just pretty new to me. Whenever I have a conversation with someone, I always end up not being able to say even 20% of what I'm thinking before it ends. But when it comes to this mental stuff, I guess I just can't help but talk too much. Because I think too much. Guess that kind of applies to you, too. Never would have expected you to talk so much inside your head, that is.
喋ってるっていう感覚は薄いよ。考えてるだけ。それが流れ込むだけ。相手にはビビーって、相手からはドバーって。慣れてないと自分の思考と相手の思考がごちゃごちゃってなって、にゃーってなるの。
In Japanese, please. I can kind of understand what you're going for, though. I think you're trying to say that you don't have the real subtlety or nuance of actual conversation. There's nothing like, for example, looking at the other person's expression and then deciding that you're no longer able to bring yourself to say what you wanted to say because of it. If people's thoughts just leaked out widely, then you'd no longer be able to read the room. The transmission isn't one way, but it isn't two-way either. It's like having to pick one arrow out of an avalanche of other arrows, all of which were flying in different directions, all while someone ignoring all of the other ones you didn't need. You have to tune out the excessive noise.
だから気楽だし距離感も近いけど傷つくことも簡単なの。
Yeah? Yeah. For a moment, Kazupi's expression clouded a bit, but not long after, a tearful smile rose on her face.
西条くんは初めてなのにすんごく上手だよ。コズピーとビビビが合うの。
Beeps? Are you trying to say we're on the same wavelength?
そう、波長。
God damn it. God damn it, game. Why you gotta do this to me? Now I care about her, and it's like having the power to read thoughts sucks. That would suck. No, like, really? Like, genuinely, if you're able to hear everybody's thoughts, you would go insane. You would go in fucking insane. And let's just say, a lot of thoughts go through a lot of people's minds all the fucking time. So it's like, you can... Sure, you're able to tell what a person's really thinking about you. But that's hell. That's hell. That's horrible. God, this poor girl. Fuck, man. God damn it. God damn it, game. Why you gotta make me care? Why you gotta make me care in such little amount of time? God damn it, the art doesn't help. Or it does help in this case, yes, but it's just, god damn it. Well, I guess it's probably because I do something similar to Serotan pretty often.
でも、あの時の西条くんは怖かったの。ピー。
Back then?
今日の朝教室で。
Oh, yeah. Oh god, that reminds me. I think I had a really stupid delusion this morning.
だから、うひゃーって思って、つい声をかけちゃったのら。本当はなるべくこの力を他の人に知られないようにしようって決めてたのに。
Wait, you don't understand. Back then, I was just really desperate, and at the end of the day, it was just a delusion. Who am I kidding? You probably hate me.
きっとそれを本当にやってたら、コズピーは西条くんを殺してたよ。
Huh? She said such a disturbing thing so hesitantly. Contrast between the two extremes sent a chill down my spine. Remaining silence while still communicating in our heads, two of us passed through Center Guy and came out of an Inkoshara Dore. From an outsider's perspective, the two of us looked like a brand new couple, walking in silence without even looking at each other. Kazupi let out a crazy loud gasp next to me. Her eyes went wide and she looked up at me. No, it was just a random thought. A random thought. God damn it. Sorry. No, it really does suck trying to think what someone's listening to every thought you have. Whenever I was talking to Kazupi, I'd probably be better for my overall health if I avoided any unnecessary delusions as much as possible.
聞きたいな。先週の西条くんがテレビに出てた時のこと。
Also, she did say before that we did save Elise from killing herself. So she knows there wasn't a flower bed. Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me.
それ決めつけ。うぐ。コズピーはあの時下にいたんだよ。
Down below?
スクランブル交差点、ハチ公口の改札前、ちょうど通りかかって。あの時ずっと声聞こえてたよ。西条くんの声。
Oh.
ナナミさんを助けたい、助けなきゃって聞こえたよ。
Did my inner voice really reach that far? It's surprisingly a long way from the roof of Overfront to the ticket gate at the station.
それだけあの時の西条くんの思いは強かったのら。
Wow. Huh. Guess Kazupi really didn't understand. It didn't cause such an uproar because I was planning to show off my ESP.
だから価値はなくなくないよ。なく
Wait, huh? But in the end, it was all pointless. I put my own life before Nanami's, and the very last second I escaped. Kazupi stopped before the entrance to the loft, and then while pointing at the entrance, she looked at me. This must have been where she wanted to take me. I didn't think there would be a place to rest inside the loft. It was a small, cramped spot that was filled to the brim with customers. My legs were unconsciously shaking. The cheers and shouts I'd heard that night at Scramble Crossing resounded inside my head. I don't want to go to places with lots of people. Once I go inside there will be nowhere to run.
大丈夫だよ。
In spite of how afraid I was, Kazupi marched on ahead, ignoring me. Yeah, this is just another weird photo with a couple just people trying to. This is just a real photo of like a convenience store or whatever. I had no choice but to follow her as fast as my legs could take me, trying my best not to look at my surroundings. As we got on the escalator, Kazupi looked back at me standing behind her. She was standing one step higher than me, putting us about equal height.
ナナミちゃんは助かったんだよね。だったら西条くんが頑張ったおかげだよ。
My power isn't what saved her. Might as well have done nothing at all.
屋上から手を伸ばしてたよね。何をしようとしたの？ビョーンって飛ぼうとしたのかな？
No, I was trying to get the sword. It was a delusional sword, and embedded right into the scenery I saw from the rooftop.
理想度？
Mm-hmm. A DL sword. I was told that I could reach out and grab it, but I couldn't.
なんで
I shouted that out loud without thinking. A couple passing by on the escalator gave me an irritated look. I frantically slapped my hand over my mouth. Kazupi, how do you know what a DI sword is? Deal.
コズピーも持っているもん。
Of course. As soon as we got off the escalator on the 5th floor, Kuze casually raised her right hand above her head. Oh boy. It was like she was trying to shade herself from the radiant glare of the sun using her hand. As if it were running along her hand, light suddenly appeared in the air. No, it wasn't light, it was closer to lines. If I were to describe it, it would be similar to wireframe. Countless ways of light intersected in the seemingly empty space before eventually forming a shape akin to that of a snowboard. And then several streaks of blue light, more fiercely brilliant than any of the wireframe lines, ran across the entirety of it. Kazupi then clasped her opened hand. What the fuck? Okay, what the fuck is that? That is... Can you even describe that as a sword? Like, that's... Jesus. No fucking... Jeez. Oh my god. That is insane looking. That's not a fucking sword. That's just a big fucking hunk of metal. Like, honestly, with like a handle. Immediately following this, what had originally been wireframe, appearing as though a texture had been applied to it, transformed into a massive, solid, seemingly cold to the touch metal plank.
Disorder.
God damn, girl. The shape was far too different to the one Senna and Waste possessed, and yet, even so, the aura about its body was the exact same. Alright. Well, if we've already done red, we've already done green. Or, yeah, we've done red, then green. Now let's go with neutral. It was too sinister to be called a board. It was too unaffected to be called a sword. It possessed a pure, unadulterated savagery, one which intermingled with its destructive nobility. She held it in the air with incredible ease. It was way too big to be swung along like that indoors. Of course, it's always the tiny girl with the giant fucking weapon. There were other customers around. If anyone were to get hurt, it'd be a total disaster. Kazupi's behavior was making me really nervous. I wasn't sure if it was because she knew I was afraid, but Kazupi recklessly lowered her sword and spun around in the spot. She looked like she was having fun. Yeah, I don't think you can call that, like, legally, you can't call that a sword, Kazupi. That's not a fucking sword. It's a fucking metal board. Like, Jesus, I don't want to say beat, more like slash. I mean, for God's sake, you could slash a guy in half with that son of a bitch. Oof. Beat up and down the baddies? Those words made me feel uneasy. Something bothered me about them. Oh. And what I remembered was the smell. The smell of blood. I remembered the scene of the DQNs lying down in a pool of blood. Well, I wouldn't say deserved to... You could have... So they really were dead? Oh. Okay. Cocky roaches? Don't you dare correct me. I could feel pretty clearly where Kazupi's mind was when she said that. There's not a trace of malice within her. She just wanted to take revenge on the bad people who had wronged her. I didn't think there was anything inherently wrong with that. Uh-huh. This girl honestly seems pretty twisted, albeit in a different way than me. Aren't we all a bit twisted, Takumi? Aren't we all just a bit fucking crazy? Kazupi began to walk, her gigantic DL sword still in hand. She was pretty short and her arms were really thin, so she didn't look like she could even lift a feather. Yeah, despite all these things, she didn't show any signs of her sword weighing her down. In fact, her steps were light and springy. They covered my eyes again and again, each time the tip of the sword nearly collided with passing customers or products on display. Miraculously, though, it didn't end up hitting anything. We then arrived at the staircase. It was dimly lit, and unlike the rest of the floor, there was no sign of anyone around. No one even approached the area. I didn't expect to find such a desolate spot inside Loft, a ridiculously popular store, especially since it was only a 5-minute walk from Shibuya Station.
ロフトだけじゃないのだ。
Actually.
デパートの階段って全然人がいないの。
You only moved here a few weeks ago, and I've been living here for almost 2 years. How exactly did you know about this, but I didn't?
コズピーは東京に来てから毎日渋谷を歩き回ってたのら。それで見つけたの。憩いの場所だよ。
Yeah. Kazupi, seemingly in a good mood, sat down on the steps. She then casually laid her DL sword down on the floor. I had a pain in my side that was becoming unbearable, so I decided to take a break as well for the time being.
それで景色とか模様とか見ると別のものが見えたりしないかな。
Yeah, it's pattern recognition.
ゾウさんとかウサギさんとかライオンさんとか。一番おーって思ったのはオオサンシャオさんに見えてた時。
What in the world are you talking about?
理想度の話ですよ。うっぶー。何かの模様とか景色とか見ると動物さんとかいろんな形に見えることがあって。
Oh, you mean that? Yeah, I've experienced that before. When I was looking from the perspective of the O-front rooftop, I saw something. I saw a DI sword blended into the scenery.
はい、ピンポンです。コズピーが最初に見えた時はハムポンポンが死んじゃった時。
Ham Pom Pom? Ham Pom Pom.
小学生の時飼ってたハムスター。
Huh. It's always the damn. Well, how did this hamster die? Fucking did it explode?
ほいでハムポンポンのお墓を作ってあげようって土手に行ったのら。
Okay.
でもスコップ忘れてお墓作れなくてうみゃーって泣いていたら。
Oh, so you.
お空にこの剣の形が見えた。
Okay.
それからはいろんなところでよく見るようになったのら。
Okay. Interesting. So, like, once you see it, you're able to see it in the scenery of anywhere. That's how they're able to, like, quote unquote, summon the sword. Because they're able to see it. It's just, like, everywhere. Then you can, like, grab hold of it. Maybe, yeah, that would make sense. How did you actually get your hands on it? In the end, I found my sword, but I couldn't take it. No matter how hard I tried to reach for it, I couldn't grab hold of it.
ただ願ったんだよ。
You wished for it? Like what? That you could have it? But if that's what he did, then I did the same thing. Stopping my fun in its tracks, Kazupi looked up at me and shook her head faintly.
違うのら。願ったのはね、殺してやりたいっていうこと。
What? Her inner voice echoed cruelly in my head. I hadn't misheard her. She said it very cruelly. Kazupi wished to kill, and she'd been beaming as she said it. The stairs leading up from the 5th floor to the 6th were very quiet, following the faintest background music leaking up from the restaurant. Neither one of us said a word. The sound of someone breathing entered my ears. Was it hers? No, it was my own. Staircase where no one could ever approach. A blind spot in the heart of Shibuya, a pocket of air. I swallowed back my saliva in an attempt to wet my increasingly dry throat.
そう願いながら、ミューって空見たら、また剣が見えて。
はあ。
でも、その時まで剣とは思ってなかったよ。なんだか ガキーンってしたものって思ってた。あれでブーンってやったら殺せるかなって無意識に手を伸ばしたら本当につかめたのら。
And then what happened? What did you do after that?
殺そうとしたけどできなかった。コズピーの力じゃ半殺しにするのが精一杯だったのです。
Half kill? This girl. It's like she's broken.
壊れてないよ。うんうん。ここに剣あるもん。
God damn it, it's hard to fucking think! The way she gazed lovingly at the sword resting beside her, I could tell that she had absolute faith in it. Something her heart told me as well. Would I have to become this broken in order to get my hands on the DI sword? Was I still not broken to begin with? Oh my god. Oh my god. What if that is actually it? Dude. Dude. That. Oh. Oh my god. Holy shit, I think you might be right, Takumi. That's, wow. He's not broken enough to get it, unlike these other girls. That is... Ooh, that puts a lot of things into perspective. Oh, that is a... Oh, that...
この剣が怖くて仕方なかった。
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna stop things here. That was okay. Damn, that was good. That was a good fucking episode right there. Holy shit. We got a lot more questions, but also some new perspective as well. Damn, that really puts things into perspective. I'm not broken enough to get it. That's the problem. And you know what? That is actually kind of insane to fucking think about, isn't it? Because we've seen all of Takumi's thoughts. We've seen his delusions. We've seen everything. But at the same time, it's like... He's not insane. He's not broken yet. He's still relatively normal. Comparatively, he just watches anime all day and stays inside. It's not the most, insane thing to think. But yet, all these girls are able to have the DI swords, and they each have their own unique brokenness. Aoi has her version of she has to fight a shadowy organization, and she was given these powers in order to defeat them, which she is correct in that respect, actually. So she's the least crazy of them. Elise believes it was a power granted by God, or the original will. She looks at it from a religious standpoint. Kazupi here views it as a to kill. to just like maybe because her hamster died was the camel, like the straw that broke the camel's back. It sent her over the edge. Maybe same thing with Luis in the mental hospital she was in. Something pushed her over the edge, then she got the DI sword. Ha! Pushed over the edge. And we saw that with Takumi as he tried to reach for it, but he couldn't. He couldn't do it. He couldn't make that final leap where he became broken. The reason why they're able to harness the DI swords is because they have a unique perspective on the world. And in order to have a unique perspective on the world, you need to deviate from the public consensus, really. And you just have to go just a little farther and farther till you're broken, so you can have that salvation of the DI sword. You're able to harness it by that point. Because it is salvation, it is hope. But you need to be pushed off the edge and into the pit for you to grasp onto the sword itself. Wow, that actually puts a lot of things into perspective now. That really does. That really fucking does. That Takumi isn't broken enough for it. Not yet. He needs to go further in order to harness it. But what does Shogun want from him? Does Shogun need him to go over that edge? Maybe, yeah. I mean, shit, he was goading him into it. He was fucking goading him into doing it. And we saw from that, once he's real. Shogun is fucking real. He talked to Rimi, and we know Rimi's real because of Kazupi. So, Shogun is real. He wants Takumi for something. And maybe what that something is, he needs Takumi to go over the edge. To jump. To make the leap of faith. I wouldn't say leap of faith. More like a leap. A leap to destroy himself, yet also to gain power. I mean, shit, that's a lot of power systems, actually. Well, one specifically I'm thinking of is from Worm. If you ever read it, a fantastic web serial novel, recommend it. But in that series, it's superpowers. It's like a superhero universe type way. But anyway, how people got superpowers is through things called basically through trauma. That's how they got their superpowers, and it's kind of like a thing through here as well. In order to gain those powers, you need to go through trauma. Hell, it's really every superhero, isn't it? Every superhero has like a sad backstory to them in order for them to gain their powers. And I guess in this way, it's also true here. Like, you need to be broken enough in order to gain those powers, in order to empower yourself, because you're already broken. I guess that's just all power systems in a way. Well, maybe I shouldn't say all power systems, but in this context of the reason people gain power is because there's something broken within inside of them, and they need something in order to grow stronger, either mentally, physically, speed-wise, or whatever. That's what powers are. Son of a bitch. That, oh my god. That makes sense. I've cracked the code in power systems, guys. But it's an interesting thought either way. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. With Thomas Tony, put it down in the comments below. Check out Discord server in or my Twitter. Check the description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I will see you guys next time. Kazupi!